you're with a girlfriend for a while, right? I don't know, a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever the fuck. And, you know, inevitably she's going to start to whine and complain. Whine and complain and criticize. Whine and complain and criticize you. Yeah, of course. It's inevitable, okay? Women do this. Now, here's where so many guys fucking fail. Fail miserably. They start to argue. Yeah, that's their failure. They start to argue. Yeah, the girlfriend whines and complains and criticizes, and the guy starts to say, you know, about whatever it is that she's complaining about, he starts to contradict her and say, no, it's not like that. See? And that's where they fail. They fuck up. They completely fuck up. Yeah? They completely fuck up because, you see, the issue of whining and complaining and criticizing, right? It could very well be that what she is saying is totally inaccurate. Or more likely not, it is totally inaccurate. But the thing is, see, a guy is failing to understand a woman's psychology when he starts to argue when a woman whines and complains and criticizes. He's just failing, he's missing the mark insofar as what's going on with a woman's psychology. Because see, a woman, when she whines and complains and criticizes, what she's really doing is just letting off steam. She doesn't really give a shit about what she's talking about. She's just letting off the frustration, the natural frustration that accumulates in a relationship. Because of course, with any two people, see, the man and the woman together, the man is going to want certain things from the woman, and the woman is going to want certain things from the man. And there is always going to be a shortfall. It's inevitable. Because of course, no two people are perfect for one another. And the whole issue of a relationship is that, you know, you're together with a woman and you are slowly coming to an understanding. You are negotiating how you two fit. And so during the course of these negotiations, there are of course going to be moments where the guy naturally falls short of the girl's expectations. Now, the guy could be a fucking saint, okay? You could be a fucking angel placed on this fucking earth. And, you know, most girls are always going to find something wrong with you. Yeah, inevitably. So don't worry about it. It's not your failure, okay? It's not your failure at all. It's not the girl's failure. She just has expectations or desires that simply can't be met by you or by anybody. Or more to the point, you have a lot of things going for you that make her happy and a few things that she's not crazy about. And these are the things that she's going to get all pissy about, that she's gonna, you know, whine and really complain. Why don't you do this and why don't you do that and blah 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 blah. Okay? And the fault of the guy is that he engages, and that's where trouble ensues. Yeah, trouble ensues because what happens is that it becomes a fight, basically. It becomes a fight, and all of a sudden this thing that she's complaining and whining about actually becomes important in the relationship. Okay? Yeah, I'm not talking about like for instance the actually really important shit. I mean, if like a guy, if you are failing to provide the money because you're a fucking deadbeat and living with your mom or some shit like that, and she starts to complain and criticize you, well, sorry pal, you're gonna have to eat that shit because you're a fucking loser. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't. And you are watching, you know that I don't think that it's healthy for a guy, a grown fucking man, to be living with his parents and you know. Being a deadbeat. No, you got to go out there and make a living, and you know that's that. But see, if it's something trivial, if the girl is whining about something trivial in you, I don't know, that you're messy, or you know that you spend too much time with your friends or too much time with the motorcycle or some shit like that, what you got to do is ignore it. And this is where most guys fail, including yours truly, by the way. See, a lot of times, instead of doing the smart thing, which is ignoring a woman's whining and complaining and bitching and criticizing, instead of ignoring it, they engage and they start arguing, because a lot of times the girl is going to like hit you with the things that you're a little bit sensitive about. Yeah, if sometimes you, for instance, you spend a little too much time drinking with the buddies, you know, at the bar every weekend or whatever the fuck, she's going to hit you with that, and she's going to whine and complain about that, and you're going to bite, because of course the girl, your girlfriend, she's going to know you a little bit, and she's going to know already what are your soft spots, right? And so she's going to hit you with that soft spot. She's going to whine and complain about that thing that you know that you know it's not the best thing that you're doing. You're going to respond, and you're going to get into a fight. And you're going to get into a fight, and this problem that might have been minor in the overall scheme of the relationship will become major. And it will be your fault, your deficiency. And this will become a problem long term. So you see how engaging with a girl's whining and criticizing and complaints can lead to very damaging long-term results. Yeah, because it focuses the relationship's attention on a deficiency or something negative about you, which is of course what you don't want, right? You don't want both participants in the relationship, you and your girlfriend, to be focusing on your fucking flaws. Yeah, because then it's going to be your fucking fault, right? So you don't do that. You don't do that at all. When a girl starts to whine and complain and criticize, what you do is you ignore it. Now, what do I mean by ignore it? I mean, you ignore it. You just act as if you didn't even hear what she said. Let's give a hypothetical example. Suppose she criticizes you because you spend too much time hanging out and drinking and doing whatever the fuck with your buddies, right? And she says, you always go out with your buddies. And what do you do in that situation? You ignore it. You just like act like you didn't hear a thing. And she can repeat it, and you just keep on ignoring it. And she repeats it a third time. And maybe she grabs you and holds you and tells you right to your face this thing, right? And what you have to do is like, that's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. In the absolute worst case scenario, you just say, that's it. And what'll happen? Well, she's going to lose interest in this thing. Yeah, because if she doesn't get a rise out of you, then obviously that's not really a big button for you. And so she's going to move on to the next one, and to the next one, and to the next one. And you keep on doing the exact same thing. Yeah, you just ignore it. You ignore it. You ignore it as she, and she will do this, as she systematically goes through every red button that you have, or let me phrase it, every red button that she has deduced or inferred or sussed out that you have. She's going to hit every one of your red buttons in the first, 6 months of the relationship. This is inevitable. And she will do this. And so what you have to do is just ignore it. Ignore it the first time, ignore it the second time, and if she has like a thing where she grabs hold of you and tells you to your face this thing that really just, that's what you do. This is going to drive the chick crazy, by the way. Yeah, she's going to go out of her fucking mind. If you pull this stunt and you do it properly, okay, which I, by sheer chance, have on a time or two in a couple of relationships have done, okay, but not always. Ooh, I wish I had, but that's the thing with experience, over time you figure it out. But anyway, if you pull this stunt properly, of just ignoring it, no matter how hurtful, no matter how much of a rise it gets out of you, no matter how much your hackles rise and you want to just jump on this whining or criticizing or critiquing, right? No matter how much, if you just ignore it, she is going to go out of her fucking mind, and eventually she's going to have a complete breakdown. And I've seen this happen. She's going to cry and just be at her wit's end because she will not have something on you. And this will drive her nuts. And that's when you know that you won. What do I mean by winning? Yeah, because you will have the upper hand in the relationship. And it will be permanent. Okay? I've seen this. I've experienced it. On both sides, by the way. Okay? Of me fucking up on what I've just told you and me doing this successfully. And the times I've done this successfully, it's been more chance and happenstance than really being, clever about it, okay? I mean, now that I'm older, yeah, I'm a lot more clever about it, but so that's why I'm telling you, learn from my fucking experience, okay? See, you pull this shit, right? And you pull this shit consistently of always, and like with iron discipline, ignoring every button that she tries to get a rise out of you with, right? You ignore it every fucking time until she has a meltdown. Until she realizes and capitulates to the fact that you do not have a button that she can press and get a rise out of you, and you will be in the driver's seat of the relationship. It's as simple as that. Stoicism, toughness, never showing weakness. There are reasons why these are good qualities, why the fucking ancient Greeks, for crying out loud, looked up to these qualities of stoicism, of toughness, of not showing any kind of weakness, right? Because that's what's going on here. And you ignoring her bullshit, ignoring her whining and complaining and criticizing to the point where she has a meltdown. After that, after you've comforted her and just, you know, and always, like I said, always ignoring the issue that bothers her, always, right? She will resign herself to the fact that she can't get a rise out of you, and you'll always be the guy in charge in the relationship. You'll be in the driver's seat of the relationship. Simple as that. Because what women are trying to do here is establish dominance in the relationship. Because there's a truth about men and women in relationships. And I'm going to do a video about this now that I think about it. You see, women are the gatekeepers of sex, but men are the gatekeepers of relationships. Men want sex. And women, yeah, they enjoy sex, but they don't really need it as much as a guy does, okay? So naturally, they are the gatekeepers of sex. But men, they enjoy a relationship. It's fun, but guys can live on their own, no problem. But women need relationships. It defines them. They need relationships with other people, women, their parents, their friends, their social milieu, and they need a relationship with a guy, a sexual, romantic relationship with a guy. They need it. And because of this need, which men don't have, men become the gatekeepers of relationships. And so when a woman is involved in a relationship, she keeps trying to test the gatekeeper's authority. She is trying to find his limits, find how she can, you know, take control of it, because ultimately her need for a relationship makes her the weaker partner in the relationship. Because she has a need for the relationship and a guy doesn't. A guy can live without a relationship. I mean, come on. You've lived without a relationship, yeah. Sometimes happily, sometimes not so happily, but you live perfectly fine, right? Women don't have this power. And therein lies men's power over women. Men surrender this power that they have in the relationship by engaging when women whine and complain and criticize. Men surrender their power and they become a woman's plaything. The woman all of a sudden is in the driver's seat. You see what happens? Yeah. That's what's going on. And that's why a woman is testing the guy. It's a kind of shit test, but it's beyond that. It's a need to gain control, to get out from the yoke of this need that women have for a relationship. Because they instinctively recognize that this need that they have puts them in the control of a man. And no sentient being likes to be in the control of another sentient being. It's inevitable, okay? We all want to be in control of our own lives. And so women, what do? They fight against this need that they have by trying to figure out the guy's weakness. But if you show that you have no weakness, you do not have a red button that will, you know, make you freak out and get a rise out of you and get you into a fight and lose in her eyes, right? Once she realizes that you do not have this, once she realizes that she does not have this power over you, that's it. That's when you won. That's when you are in complete control of the relationship, and she will be resigned. You see what I mean? You see the dynamic going on? This is very, very important that you understand. A lot of our culture, as I've said before in other videos, check them out here. A lot of our culture is matriarchal. A lot of our culture, for various reasons that are not important for this video, right? Basically, it's geared towards women. And so men are encouraged to act in ways that are beneficial to women, but detrimental to men, okay? And this is one of them. A lot of, self-help crap and all that other bullshit of relationships, all this bullshit talk, right? Talks about feelings and sharing and like talking things out. Fuck that noise. Fuck that noise, see? All this shit that a woman wants to talk out, quote unquote, she wants to talk it out and talk it over and, communicate and all this crap, right? It's all an effort to gain control in the relationship. That's it. And a guy loses that control, cedes that control when he engages in this bullshit. Yeah, and that's why you win by not engaging. Remember the fucking War Games picture? You know, the one with Matthew Broderick? That was a hell of a good picture. Yeah, the winning move is not to play. Yeah, the winning move here is not to fucking engage. You engage with her whining and her complaints or her criticisms of you, you're going to lose. Because that's the whole point of it. And so if you ignore it, you win. You win and you keep on being ironclad in this regard. You never, ever, ever engage. Now, if you're already in a relationship, right, and you've already fallen into this pattern of like, you know, she hits you up with some bullshit and you engage and, you know, there's a fight or whatever the fuck, right? Well, all is not lost, Kimosabi. All is not lost. What you have to do is you have to get on this regime that I've told you about. This regime, the stoic regime of just not engage, of just ignoring her bullshit. Yeah. You're in the throes of this crap. Well, this is how you work it out. This is how you dig yourself out of this hole. She starts criticizing you for whatever. The thing that usually gets a rise out of you, okay, she starts criticizing you for that. And you just like nod and smile and ignore it. Then she'll do it again. And you just keep on. Keep on this thing of just ignoring it. And eventually, you'll get back to the position of being in control of the relationship. Yeah. Yeah, either that or she'll leave you. Either will be better. Better for you. Yeah, okay? And actually, once a girl is with a guy and she starts pulling this shit and pulling it consistently and not being weak about it, not backing off and losing his nerve, no. If he's consistent about this shit, eventually the girl is gonna get on his page. Eventually she's gonna be in her place, in a place, and oddly enough, and this is the bizarre part that feminists, you know, they would freak out if they heard me say it. Well, they probably freak out a lot about a lot of shit that I say on this channel, but whatever the fuck. The thing that freaks out feminists, it freaks out women, is that, see, at heart, this is what women want. Yeah, because, you know, like I said before, women are the gatekeepers of sex, right? See, fundamentally, a guy, he wants a girl who's hard to get. He doesn't want a girl that he can fuck on the first night. No, he wants a girl that, you know, makes him work a little bit for it because it's more valuable. And same with women. See, if a guy is easy, if a guy, she knows which buttons to push and he just jumps like a fucking, you know, trained monkey at the zoo or whatever the fuck, right? It's easy for her, so she loses interest. A guy who's stoic, who's in control of his emotions, and does not allow his girlfriend to get a rise out of him, right? Well, that guy, a lot more challenging to the woman, she's going to want him more. Just as the girl who plays hard to get sexually is more desired by her man, same with a woman and a man who controls his emotion and does not allow the woman to get a rise out of him. Yeah, and that's the truth. That's the reality. Women want that guy, and they want to cede control. That's the truth. It's the truth of human nature. It's the truth of men and women. Because ultimately, women respect and admire a man, their man, who is in control of their relationship, because they feel that they are protected. Because never forget this, what women want is to feel protected. They don't want to feel understood. They don't give a shit about that. They want to feel protected. They want to feel that the man is in control of her environment and has a safe place for her. That's what she wants. She doesn't want a man who's going to be weak and telling her, you know, his problems and his emotions. And you know what? Mommy didn't love me enough when I was little. Fuck that. Fuck that. No girl wants that. None. Ever. In the course of human fucking history has a woman wanted that. Except psycho-feminist bitches. But other than that, no normal woman, for crying out loud. Ever. Okay? What a woman wants is a man, like the fucking Eastern European women always say. They want a man made of stone. They want a man who's just tough as nails. They don't want a fucking pussy bitch. So don't act like a fucking pussy bitch.